interest.
This is the French surrender opening. This is the French surrender opening. Your weakness is all game. I mean, you say that, but he will then move here, which... Oh, never mind.
Zoomers LULW lost on time.
Today we're going to be going over the games and playstyle of one of the greatest PogChamps participants of all time. Hold on, I can fix this. Much better. Before Forsen lost his sanity to a kids game, he used to be a variety streamer and participant in the first PogChamps tournament. Today we'll be analyzing his strategies and why I believe he has the potential to be a great chess player. Just not a very good one. Forsen is famous for breaking norms both with his community and gameplay. Every time he attempts a new game, he tries to accomplish what he calls the Forsen build, where he uses absurd exploits to advance, often making the game more difficult than just playing it normally, but occasionally creating a masterpiece. He carries this behavior over to chess and defies the standards of opening play, attempting to quickly bring the game into unfamiliar territory and create threats that test his opponent. Unfortunately for Forsen, chess isn't a little game, where any behavior the dev didn't expect instantly breaks the game. Chess has existed for 1,000 years and the game can't so easily be broken. Opponents can blitz through opening theory, find advanced checkmate patterns, and... Wait! My opponent's cheating! Taking the game into unfamiliar territory can be great, but it won't accomplish anything if you're the one who doesn't know what to do, while your opponent just plays the London system for the 1,000th time. Even in Forsen's first chess streams, he demonstrated his ability to calculate lines and find tactics that few other amateurs have. However, his refusal to spend time looking at the entire board meant that in one move he would win a queen from clever tactics, and in the next he'd blunder his own to a beginner mistake. In fact, Forsen's desire to remove the queens is one of the largest hindrances in his attacking style.
The queen... we decided to kill each other's wife because they were being annoying and asking too many chess questions.
We're going to go over one of Forsen's games that really showcases his playstyle, with his ability to find great ideas and miss simple hanging pieces. The game starts with e4, e5, knight f3. On move 2, Forsen already tries to avoid a normal game with f5, the Latvian Gambit. Forsen's opponent develops the bishop normally instead of taking one of the pawns, showing that they are not familiar with this opening. Forsen captures on e4 attacking the knight, then the knight captures the e5 pawn, looking for a classic knight f7 fork. Forsen defends with d5, another book move cutting off the bishop from the attack. His opponent responds with queen h5 check, which Forsen is forced to block with g6. After knight takes g6, threatening to win the rook, he counterattacks the queen with knight f6, and white gives another check with queen e5, again putting Forsen in a dangerous position after bishop e7. Now white takes the hanging rook on h8, while Forsen captures a c4 bishop, getting out of any checkmate threats, but creating an absolute mess of a position.
Not so behind, but it is winnable. He will make one blunder.
Contrary to his statement, the computer actually gives Forsen a slight advantage here. He is down 3 points of material and has no king safety, but his development is almost complete and his pieces will have multiple avenues of attack. At the same time, his opponent essentially only has the queen developed since the knight is trapped on h8, giving Forsen the potential to regain his material disadvantage later. White checks Forsen yet again with queen b5, looking to capture the newly unprotected pawn, and he blocks with knight c6. After queen takes pawn, Forsen launches his attack too early, playing knight e5, attacking the queen when he should be focusing on completing development and capturing the trapped knight. White moves the queen back to b5, forcing Forsen's knight back to c6, but now he has lost a move and a pawn. White opens up his bishop with d3 and Forsen pushes the queen away with a6. He yet again attacks the queen with knight d4, also looking for the c2 fork, a mistake because queen f7 check forces the king towards the center, blocking his development. Forsen's attacking style compels him to go after high-value pieces, such as the queen. This is not necessarily a bad thing, as many opponents will get their queen trapped under enough pressure, and it prevents them from developing more pieces. However, this situation is a perfect example of this going wrong for Forsen, where his opponent has used this to gain tempo and tear apart his structure. Now of course this still isn't professional chess, and seeing his knight under attack, White moves it to h6 where it can be taken by the pawn. But Forsen isn't satisfied with a free knight, and goes for the knight c2 fork instead. After the black knight takes the a1 rook, now the white knight escapes to e5 with check, forcing the king further into the center of the board. Both sides get their undeveloped bishops out, with Forsen's attacking the white queen again. White brings the knight back to g6 with discovered check, allowing Forsen's king back to safety. With 2 pieces under attack here, the best move for white would be to give another check, allowing them both to escape. Instead, he tries to trade queens after knight takes e7. However, this is the wrong order, since now Forsen is not in check and can capture the queen with bishop instead of exchanging on e7. At this point, Forsen is up 8 points of material and knows from his Grandmaster training that all he needs to do is trade pieces until his opponent has nothing left. We will let the rest of this game play out as he does so, with the exception of blundering a few pieces in the process, while I repeat some of the key takeaways from this game. Forsen beautifully demonstrated his fearlessness that game by immediately going down a dangerous line with the Latvian Gambit, and coming out of it not only without getting checkmated, but with a slight advantage. His aggressive attacks quickly whittled away that advantage when he needed to demonstrate patience and complete his development, having already sufficiently complicated the position. In the end, despite a few greedy moves, he was able to keep his king safe despite being in the middle of the board, until his opponent lost track and blundered the game by losing the queen. Forsen's aggressive moves and solid defense are why I believe he has the potential to be great. Many players hit a wall when they have finished studying theory and find themselves at a loss when they need to find a move in an even position. Forsen, on the other hand, constantly looks for a way to make something happen on the board. Even if it can be stopped, his opponent has to spend time ensuring that they do so correctly, or the game will quickly be over. Unfortunately, his refusal to study the fundamentals beyond some gambits means that any calm opponent who knows their theory should have a strong enough advantage by the mid-game that their moves will find themselves. This is why I don't believe Forsen has the capacity to be good at the game. He may not hit a wall when it comes to creativity, but he will hit a wall far before that when his attacks come too early without first setting up enough support.
I like this guy's style. He plays by his gut. Who cares what the moves and the pieces are called? This is a game of guts. Brilliant, brilliant guy. Fantastic moves.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Forsen was certainly one of the most interesting PogChamps participants to watch, and will hopefully return in the future, if he ever escapes the bog. I hope you enjoyed this insight, and please—
Surely I will. Surely I will.